Okay, so I know exactly what you're thinking. Yo, how are we gonna Nuzlocked Pinball? That makes no sense, man. Well, you see, it's actually quite simple. Okay, maybe not that simple. Basically, I'm gonna be playing a Nuzlocke, a Pokemon Emerald with hardcore Nuzlocke rules. That means if a Pokemon faints, it's dead, no items in battle, and set mode. But yo, Joe, that isn't pinball, man, that's clickbait. I'm getting there, don't worry. You see, you may have noticed that I left out the common rule of the Nuzlocke where you catch the first Pokemon you find on each route. In this Nuzlocke, I'm getting my Pokemon in a different way. After every gym, I'm playing one round of Pokemon Pinball, and I can use anything I catch in this run. But this on its own would be a little bit too easy, so I added another catch. See, Pokemon Pinball has a mechanic where you can evolve a Pokemon in the middle of a round. So I decided that I'd only be allowed to evolve a Pokemon if I could evolve it in the round of Pinball. So hopefully this will add some strategy of choosing what I want to evolve based on what will be the best for my run. So now with all those rules done, let's go! Nobody cares about the intro of the game, you've already seen it a million times. I picked Trico as my starter because that'll give my rival a Blaziken, and I know a lot of the encounters I'll get from Pinball are going to be water types because I've played the game before, and they're pretty common. And now it's time for some Pinball, baby! Woohoo! I start off this run by catching a Machop. Luckily, I'm able to evolve this Machop into a Machoke. I then managed to catch an Aeron, which will be pretty useful being a Steel type. After that, I'm able to catch myself a Zigzagoon and a Silcoon, before I unfortunately perish. Getting back into the game, I go up and challenge my rival, who does not really stand a chance against my Machop. I make my way through the early routes and notice that in my Pokemon inventory, I've got a bad egg for some reason. I don't know why that's there, but surely nothing will go wrong with that in the future, right? Haha. And just like that, I make my way up to Roxanne, who does not really stand a chance against my Machop. I kind of just destroy her entire team. It's not really even close. I get 2 crits too. In my next round of Pinball, I decided to go with the Sapphire version. I catch myself a Wingull and evolve it into a Pelipper. I then catch a Tentacool and a Roselia and a Spheal. I then proceed to evolve my Tentacool into a Tentacruel. And then unfortunately I die. But overall, that's a pretty good run. I make my way over to the tunnel with the Whismers, I don't know what it's called, and I destroy this stupid Aqua Grunt. Nothing else really important happens until I make my way to Brawly, so here we go. This fight's a little bit more difficult than the Roxanne fight. I have a close call with a critical hit from this Makuhita, but you know, I was fine. It's alright. I head back on over to the Ruby version of Pinball where I catch a second Machop, catch myself a nice Shroomish, and catch a second Silcoon before evolving this Shroomish and catching another Aeron. I then die, so all I really got this time around was a single Breloom. I talk to some weird creep that's just standing in a cave for some reason and defeat the Aqua Grunts that have really weak Pokemon. I then go to challenge my rival on Route 210, but I thought I picked Torchic for some reason, so I prepared for the wrong team. And when Compuskin came in, I realized my entire team is weak to this. So unfortunately, in order to make it through this battle, I had to sacrifice my Spheal. Rest in peace, Spheal. You will not be missed because you can't evolve anyway. Luckily, Machop was able to come in and clean up the battle, and the Lombre wasn't really much of a threat. And I was able to make it to Mauville City without any other casualties. And then Shroomish evolved. Yay! After bullying a kid with green hair, I was able to make it up to the gym leader. The gym started off rough as I wasn't really dealing as much damage as I would have hoped, and I got paralyzed from Voltorb's Spark. I was able to get off one Mud Slap with my Aeron on the Voltorb before switching into Roselia, but the Voltorb used Self-Destruct. And unfortunately, this was the end for oh, never mind. Roselia was able to take out the Electrike, and I was able to take out the Magneton with my Breloom. But the Manectric was starting to be a problem as it set up 2 Howls on me. But luckily, I was able to do a little thing called Leech Seed Stall. Luckily, Manectric only had Quick Attack and Shockwave as attacking moves, so I was able to pivot between my Grass types and Aeron in order to secure a clutch victory. And just look at this stall. I mean, this takes so long. I stall it for so long. Here's a fast forward of all the stalling I did. It takes a while. But eventually I'm able to take out the Manectric, and I get my 3rd gym badge. Pinball time, baby! I'm able to catch my own Electrike here, as well as a Ralts and a Staryu. But unfortunately I die before I'm able to evolve anything, so that's a bit of a rough run. I then make my way up to the Meteor Cave, where I encounter some magma grunts, who, for some reason, don't want to fight me here. I always assume that this area has a fight, but I guess not. But then I have to go up to the volcano and fight them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Staryu makes quick work of all the fire types here, so I'm easily able to make my way up to Maxie. Maxie's also pretty easy, as I just take out his Mightyena with Machop and his Camerupt with Staryu. I'm then able to evolve both my Wingull and my Machop, before taking on Flannery, and I just sweep the whole thing with Staryu. Back over in Pinball Land, I'm able to catch myself a second Tentacool and an Anorith, who I evolve into an Armaldo. I then catch a Horsey and a second Wingull, and I'm able to evolve the Horsey into a Seadra. I'm also able to catch a Relicanth and a Phanpy before the run dies. I then go straight to the 5th gym because for some reason it's immediately accessible. The gym trainers are no match for my Machoke, so I'm easily able to make it to my dad. I lead with Aeron against Spinda, and after taking multiple hits of confusion, I'm finally able to take it out with Iron Tail. This actually baits him slacking because it does Sand Attack, which it sees as a super effective move. I decided to stay in with Aeron because I know I'll take any hit unless it's a crit, and then it'll be Truanting on the next turn. And then I can switch in with Pelipper and use Protect strats, baby. I love Protect, it's such a good move. I take out Slacking with ease, but have a pretty close call against the Lanoon. Luckily, I'm able to get out of this fight deathless. I start off Pinball by catching yet another Silcoon, yet another Aeron, and another Zigzagoon. Luckily, I'm at least able to evolve the Aeron before, unfortunately, dying. Yeah, that's all I get to do this run. I just evolve my Aeron. I get back into the game just to realize my Breloom was replaced by a Bad Egg for some reason, so I have to hack it back in, PK Hex style. I then make my way to the game corner, and for some reason, it says I have question coins. Even though I swear I did not hack any of these in. I don't know why I had infinite coins here. But I bought myself some TMs. And then I gambled just for fun, baby, because it's fun. It's what people do. Come on. Yes. No, what do you mean? All right, maybe Sloth is a bit up to my speed. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Yeah, baby. Woohoo! I then make my way through one of the most annoying routes in Pokemon history before going to the Weather Institute. Luckily, I had an Electrike, which, no joke, swept the entire Weather Institute, including Admin Shelly. I one-shot the Carvana, and thanks to a lucky static proc on the Mightyena, I'm able to take that out too. And Electric tries to evolve over this fight, but I have to deny it. Sorry, buddy. But Electric isn't done yet, because I fight May here, and unfortunately for her, she has a Pelipper. But I can't let the wrath of Electric in here, because I still have the Flying Gym up next. It's just Electric kill after Electric kill after Electric kill. This guy's gonna go to jail for murder at some point. Winona does not know what's about to hit her. Swablu comes in, but it's no match for Electric. Pelipper is able to take out the Altaria with ease, and Tropius too. And from there, Electric's able to clean up both the Pelipper and the Skarmory for my next gym badge. As we go back to Pinball, I'm able to catch myself a Psyduck and a Doduo, which I'm able to evolve into a Dodrio. Then I catch a Grimer, which I'm able to evolve into a Muck, a Wurmple, which is somehow even worse than getting a 4th Silcoon, and finish off the round by catching a Solrock, Skitty, and Poochyena before dying. I then go up to the Graveyard Mountain, where the Aqua Grunts still, for some reason, have Poochyenas and Whalmers. Needless to say, this was kind of a sweep. And then right afterward, I have to go to the Magma Base on another fetch quest, where they still have Zubats, for some reason. But at the end of the road, I had to fight Maxie, who was really no match for my Pelipper. I then get to go on another fetch quest to Slateport City, and then another fetch quest to the stupid Aqua Base, which was a maze. Woohoo! This part of the game is so much fun. I almost died to an Electrode too. Oh yeah, I need to mention they still have Poochyenas here, and Zubats, which really prepared me for the admin, who had a Mightyena and a Golbat. Why are the trainers so weak? I then made my way through Water Simulator to the 7th gym. These gym puzzles are really easy, they're just annoying, and eventually I make it to Tate and Liza. And this is where the difficulty starts to ramp up a bit. I lead with Armaldo and Breloom into Xatu and Claydol, but immediately switch out Breloom into Poochyena in order to bait a Psychic. Unfortunately for me, Claydol decides to use Earthquake instead, which just barely does not kill Poochyena. But Armaldo's Ancient Power is able to do huge damage to Xatu, but unfortunately it just heals the next turn. After a little bit of pivoting, I'm able to get Dodrio and Pelipper in, who can take out the Xatu and Claydol in one turn. Unfortunately, I don't really have a safe switching to the Lunatum and Solrock, so I have to sack Dodrio, but luckily, it gets a paralysis on the Solrock. Unfortunately, it goes down to Lunatone's Psychic, and Armaldo takes huge damage from Flamethrower on the switch-in. And Pelipper's Surf is doing pretty pitiful damage at this point, thanks to Sunny Day. But thankfully, after a few more smart pivots, I'm able to take down both the Lunatone and Solrock without any more deaths. I never thought Poochyena would be this useful for the 7th gym, I'm not gonna lie. Back to Pinball, I catch myself in a Zuriel and a Jigglypuff, which I'm able to evolve into a Wigglytuff. I then catch a Magnemite, which would have been incredible if I was able to actually evolve it before dying. The next part of the game, I honestly completely forgot existed. I had to go into this space facility and fight the Team Magma guys, who still had Nummels, by the way. And the team-up fight with Steven was also pretty free because Pelipper just kinda swept. I then have to fight some more Aqua Grunts, who still have Zubats and Carvanas, by the way. Why is this game so easy this late on? Like, they should at least have a Sharpedo, please. After making it to Archie, I have a pretty close call against a critical hit wing attack from Crobat, but Breloom cleans up the fight pretty easily. I then look up a tutorial on how to get to Sootopolis City because I always forget for some reason. There are just too many dive spots, man. I don't know which one to go down. Groudon and Kyogre start fighting, yada yada yada, you've seen it before. And I spend about half an hour trying to look for Sky Pillar because I just can't find it. Just for it to be right in front of my face the whole time. I scare off the Rayquaza, who stops the two little babies from fighting, and make my way to the final gym. This is where demons are born. The start of the fight goes swimmingly. I take a Love Disc with Breloom, Celio with Wigglytuff, Whiscash with Pelipper, and Crawdon with Tentacruel. But then, this monster gets sent in, and he starts to use Double Team. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention, he also has Rest. It takes me so long to hit an attack, and he just heals it up afterward. This is gonna be scary. I run out of Ice Beam PP on Tentacruel, so I have to switch out. I try to counter his +6 evasion with +6 evasion of my own, but unfortunately, my Muck doesn't have healing, so it dies. I try Wigglytuff next, but it too was no match for this +6 evasion Kingdra. I go into Armaldo to try to get an Ancient Power Omni boost, but that was no use either. I try to whittle it down with Pelipper a little bit, but get left with 5 HP. I switch into Tentacruel, and after missing a couple attacks, I'm left with 1 HP. At this point, I have to sack Pelipper in order to get a clean switch into Breloom. Luckily for me though, at this point Kingdra's out of Ice Beam PP, so I'm able to finish it off with Breloom. This final run of Pinball would have to be super clutch in order for me to have any chance of beating this game. I start off the run by catching a Nummel, before hatching another Spheal. I'm able to catch a Coughing and a Plusle, and evolve my Nummel into a Camerupt. Then I catch yet another Spheal, a Slugma, a Phanpy, and a Tailo. This Tailo would be huge, but unfortunately, I'm not able to evolve it. And just like that, I'm left with barely any Pokemon for the Elite Four. This is what my box looks like, and yes, those are all bad eggs at the bottom. With my very few fully evolved Pokemon, I make my way through Victory Road and to the Elite Four, where I settle with my final team. The team consisted of Camerupt, Plusle, Breloom, Tentacruel, Solrock, and Lairon. With this team, you can tell the Elite Four is going to be quite the doozy. So, I decide to save the game and call it a night. And the next day, I walk up to my first challenger, Sydney. Luckily, Tentacruel, Breloom, and Camerupt were able to make quick work of him. Next, I make my way to Phoebe, but this is where problems start to emerge. See, remember when I saved the game earlier and logged off? Well, when I logged back on, my Lairon got replaced by a bad egg, and I did not notice before entering the Elite Four. I was planning on using Lairon as a counter to both Phoebe and Glacia, so this is kind of a problem. Thankfully, Phoebe doesn't end up being too problematic, with Plusle and Tentacruel putting in huge work, as well as Camerupt. Next up is Glacia, who's the first really tough trainer of this Elite Four. I decide to just lead Plusle and spam Thunder and hope I hit. Luckily, I take out both the first Celio and the first Glalie this way. When the second Celio comes in and I'm on half health, I decide, you know what? I'm a high roller, baby, let's go! And thankfully, Tentacruel and Breloom are able to clean up the rest of the fight. But at this point, it's just one tough fight after another because Drake is next on the chopping block. I lead with Plusle and Encore Shelgon into using Protect. I then switch into Solrock, and because I'm not going to use it for Wallace anyway, I just set up as many Cosmic Powers as I can, and I'm just going to use this thing until it gets crit. Unfortunately, that doesn't last very long because the first attack from the incoming Salamence decides to be a critical hit crunch. Tentacruel gets a clean revenge kill on the Salamence as well as a Flygon, and gets a lucky crit against the Altaria too. But then I start to get flashbacks as he sends in Kingdra. But this time, instead of using Double Team, it uses Dragon Dance. Lovely. And I'll tell you this much, my Tentacruel was not living a +4 Body Slam. At this point, I think the run's over, so I decided to just send it with Breloom, but for some reason, Kingdra decides to use Smokescreen, and I hit through it with Sky Uppercut, so, thanks for the win, Drake. But with 3 Pokemon, and one of them being 4 times weak to water, I am not feeling great about the final battle against Wallace. But I'm gonna try my best. It's now or never. I lead Plusle, and I'm able to take out the Wailord with a couple Thunderbolts. Next comes in Gyarados for some reason, which goes down to another Thunderbolt, but then Whiscash comes in, which is perfect because I'm able to switch in Breloom. I use Leech Seed and start setting up Bulk Up. You see, before this fight, I decided to swap out Sky Uppercut for Bulk Up because I didn't see myself using Sky Uppercut at all. So, I'm able to set up to +6 against this Whiscash and take it out with full health. But next comes in Milotic. This thing can nearly kill me with a single Ice Beam, so I'm really scared going into this. If I take too much damage with Breloom here, then my Plusle and Camerupt are not going to stand a chance against the rest of the team. But to my surprise, the Milotic decides to use Toxic, and I'm able to take it out with a Headbutt. Next comes in Tentacruel. It uses Ice Beam, but I'm able to survive. If Milotic used Ice Beam, this Tentacruel would have killed, and my Plusle and Camerupt wouldn't have been able to beat the Ludicolo in the back. But now, all that stood in my way was that Ludicolo that I feared. But we're not out of the woods quite yet, because if this Ludicolo outspeeds me, I'm still gonna lose. So I decided to just send it and click Headbutt, and hope I outspeed. And to my surprise, I do, and I take out the Ludicolo. Somehow, despite all odds, with this ragtag group, I'm able to beat the champion. Plusle, Camerupt, Breloom, Solrock, Tentacruel, and the true MVP, Bad Egg.